All right. So how's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Good.
Great.
Fantastic. That's good to hear. I'm still kind of drunk. I'll be really honest with you. I went to a friend's birthday party. It was on a boat, and I was there most of the day. And then I got changed and I came straight here. So there's some dedication there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got changed. I put on pants because they don't let anyone anywhere in shorts anywhere in Taipei. So I was really excited about Red Room today. So I wanted to write a new story, but I couldn't because of my inebriation. There was a really good story I wanted to give you. Hopefully the ones that I give you today will make up for the ones that I can't give you right now. Well, I guess that defeats the purpose. But regardless of the fact, hopefully they're fun, hopefully you enjoy them, and I will try to read them with as much vigor as I would news stories. The smoke-filled room was dimly lit by Chinese paper lanterns hanging from the ceilings. I had a tough time dealing with the smoke only because it would periodically rise from the cigarette and hover over my eyes, causing a slight sting, but nothing I wasn't used to. She looked on across from the table, worrying thoughts flitting across her eyes. I could see something preoccupying her mind. The emerald green irises that she had did way too much. The waiter placed our drinks in the center. He smiled and disappeared back into the fog. I looked on as I grabbed my drink. The brisk smell of 12-year-old Japanese whiskey filled my nostrils as I went about bringing the cup to my mouth. She stared at me for a moment, the tension building as I waited. We had been talking now for the past hour about life, books we had read, places we wanted to go, things we wanted to do. And I could feel the ebb and flow of the conversation and every marker. And I reached the pivotal point, the climax. All because of the question I dared to ask. How are you really feeling? She blushed as the words left my mouth. Her lips puckered. I looked to see that she anticipated the inquiry. The cherry of her cigarette lit up as she inhaled deep, biding her time to either make up a lie or to gauge if I was asking honestly. I was. To be honest, Daniel, her voice cracking slightly, eyes becoming filmy either because of the smoke or the truth of the statement that was about to leave her lips. I've been really lonely since I've been here. She took another drag, this one really deep. The ash building on the end, she tapped it lightly at the edge of the ashtray. It fell amongst the rest, but I could see that it wasn't just the weight of the ash that had been lifted. She breathed out the smoke. It billowed over our heads as I sipped on my whiskey. The red light fixtures adding to the confessional ambiance in the corner of our lounge. Such a beautiful woman. How could you be lonely? She laughed at the remark. The remaining smoke escaping in her laughter. The man that I've met want me for my body, and the body she had. Standing at a height of 5'9" with the dirty blonde hair that laid down over her sun-kissed skin, a curvaceous frame that insisted on recognition regardless of what she wore. I would be lying if I didn't say that a portion of my intrigue was to see what her dress was hiding. But believe it or not, my penis doesn't do all the thinking for me. I just don't want to feel this way. She extinguished her cigarette, the small wisps of smoke rising up. She looked me square in the eye. And then the bell rang.
Push both buttons.
No, it's all good. It's all right. That's when I knew that regardless of what her mouth was saying, her eyes were telling me something different. One that needed just a night of intimacy that wouldn't make her feel lonely anymore. I understood it immediately. So then, it's getting late. I would hate to stop this conversation. And to be honest, I don't want to say goodbye just yet. Her eyes wide in anticipation, but not in a hungry way, but just in the sense of someone figuring out a well-placed clue. I continued the proper hesitation. Is it possible you and I can finish this conversation on my balcony? You, me, bottle of wine? She eyed me, as if to gauge my intention. Does he just want me from my body, or does he want more? I looked on and met her gaze, her eyes pleading for something that I couldn't quite make out. And then I asked the question, so? It's two parts of the story. So I instead of keeping my mouth shut at this point, I ended up asking another question, which I probably shouldn't have. But I'll keep going. It's fine. It starts at the fear. She said she could feel it. The men that she spoke with were apparently fearful of something. What a funny thing to say, I thought. It was the answer to the question of mine, well, what do the men you know have in common? I was fishing for an answer more superficial, yet here was a depth that I was not ready for. But fortunately enough, I'm versed in traveling the rivers of deep night conversations. What do you mean by fear? She looked at me very matter-of-factly as the candle quivered at her exhalation of the cigarette smoke. They're afraid of not being the hero. And the doorbell ringing. I looked on to see if she was serious. She was. The hero. She smiled slightly. The ends of her lips curled up as if though she were explaining to a child why the square peg doesn't fit into the circle hole. I can see it in their lives. They're struggling with being more, with being the hero in their story isn't working out. Are you sure you don't mean them trying to be a hero for you? She laughed. The sound of it traveled along the red walls and the light fixtures, causing the other patrons to stare in our corner. Daniel, I don't need saving. Yes, I might be a little lost, but I'm fairly capable of finding my way. So then, you really think that's what you see? Their fear. She picked up her glass and sipped it slowly. The condensation from the cup, leaving a wet ringlet on the table. Yes. So then, is that what you see right now? My fear? She looked away. I saw her fiddle with the words in her mind. No, I see my own. She smiled sheepishly as I took her hand into my own. She continued smiling, and I smiled back. I wanted to ask what her fear was, but I'm sure I would find out soon enough. Thank you.